I was invited to an all-expenses-paid trip to Florida to take part in a long-range shooting school with a bunch of other YouTubers. Now, this shooting school is hosted by Outdoor Solutions, led by Greg Ray and his team of elite instructors, which guaranteed that we would be able to hit 1,000-yard targets by the time they were finished with us. That's a long way. Needless to say, this invitation was accepted immediately. Now let's go to Texas. First, I hopped on a plane and headed down to Dallas, Texas. Once I landed, there was a guy named Judge with a black car outside, and he told me to get in. So I did.
Kicking, screaming, children behind you.
For the next hour, we continued west straight into the desert. And then we finally arrived at the ranch we was going to be shooting at. And as we made our way into the cabin, we had some goodies waiting on us too. We got a bed full of stuff. You know what to expect out of this whole shindig?
Shoot stuff a long ways away.
Looks like we got a pretty good tripod that is. 3 legs, you know. Got a book, it's real nice. A hat, I need that, because I definitely forgot my hat. Looks like we got some Tacticam stuff. That way we can actually see what we're gonna be shooting this week through the scope. Then we got some stuff to clean the guns, and that's gonna be pretty sweet. And this is the crib for the next 3 days. First impressions? Not gonna lie, all the plants kind of look dead, but I think that's just kind of how it is. Yeah, pretty much that's all I know. I really honestly have no idea what's gonna be happening this weekend, but we're about to find out. At 6 o'clock, it was dinner time, and this is where we met up with the other YouTubers that's gonna be shooting the course with me. First, we have Hootie Hoo, which is a gun review channel from Tennessee. Then we have Walker Farm Fam, which is a homesteading channel from Oklahoma. Keeping It Dutch, which is a homesteading channel from Oklahoma. Arms Family Homestead, which is a homesteading channel from Oklahoma. Oklahoma. But now it's dinner time. They treated us like kings. Getting straight into the content, we sat down with the instructors and they went over some of the basics of shooting, talking about things like bullet drop, wind compensation, and how to operate the scopes and equipment we're going to be using for the rest of the class. Alright guys, it is officially day 1 and we are in West Texas. From what I heard, the first half of day 1, we're just going to be getting used to the guns, getting used to the range, getting used to ammo, getting used to the scopes, figuring all that good stuff out, getting comfortable. Second half of day 1, we're testing our abilities, we're stretching these puppies out to 1,000 yards. Here we go. Once we got to the range, we went over the safety instructions and we got our first glimpse at the rifles and equipment we're going to be using. For the rifle, we're using a Benelli Lupo, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, topped off with a Zeiss Conquest scope. And let's not forget the suppressor on the end of the barrel, which is going to make our shots a whole lot quieter. I've never used either one of these brands before, but just looking at it, sheesh, they do be looking pretty good. After a short safety briefing, we sat down on the bench. To start off, we started shooting at 100 and 200 yards just to make sure we were zero. After sending a few shots, we started to realize my groups wasn't nearly as good as they actually needed to be. These guns, paired with their scopes and ammo, should be sub-MOA, meaning less than an inch at 100 yards. But my groups are more like 2 and 2.5 inches, and honestly, that's not gonna work. Luckily though, one of the instructors was actually keeping an eye on me and noticing that I was not really pulling the trigger perfectly. I was kind of jumping at the trigger rather than pulling it nice and slow. And so once I focused more on my trigger pull, the groups tightened right up.
See that?
That's 2 hit the same hole.
Right, so
yeah,
they're within an inch. Those are good shots.
All right, so now we're going to check our data. We're going to 300. Once we started pushing at 300 yards, we had to account for trajectory. And as you probably know, bullets don't fly at a directly straight path forever. The further they hang in the air, the more gravity actually pulls them down. This is their trajectory. And this is when we needed to learn how much we needed to hold over. Now, lucky for us, they actually hooked us up with an app, which we go into and load all the ballistics of the gun, the caliber, the scope, and even the weather. Once the app takes in all that information, it spits out a chart with how many MOAs we need to hold over in order to hit the target at whichever distance we choose. This is pretty high-tech stuff, but I tell you one thing, it definitely works.
So we're gonna do right edge hit.
Have you seen the track?
And then we started stretching it on out to 500 yards before lunch. 500? So what was that?
96, I dog 9.5.
So 9.5 MOA at 500. Here we go. Target 2. Shooter ready?
And it.
Alright guys, we're midway through day one. Not gonna lie, not shooting too hot out here, okay? Not what I expected, and we're only out to 500 yards. As we scoot on out to 1,000, is it only gonna get worse? Statistically speaking, yes, it's only going to get worse from here. After we started stretching out past 500 yards, we not only had to take into account trajectory, but also wind drift. Because at 600 yards, even a 2-mile-an-hour wind is enough to push your bullet off target. This is when the instructors taught us how to read the wind. Not only do you look at the leaves and grass down by your target to see how they're swaying, how they're moving, but you also can look at the mirage to see which way the mirage is blowing.
Stand it. Get back. I got it. Impact. Yep. Impact. Impact. Left.
Alright guys, now we're going for 1,000, which is as far as the range goes. And when we stretched on out to 1,000 yards, this is where we had to take in everything we learned throughout the entire day and make sure that we do every single bit of it as perfectly as possible. Because at this distance, you don't have any room to mess up. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we're gonna do that and then go to the 1,001 MOA target.
For 1,000, it wants 29.3. All right, there we go. Target 1,000. Hold right on it.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
Right behind it.
You can't get behind the target without going through it.
So,
Right edge. So
hold left edge.
Did you feel good about the squeeze on that one?
I did.
One more.
Impact. Yep. Ooh.
That's off the right.
Yeah. Did you see where it hit?
I did not.
Use the first big hash mark off the reticle.
Oh!
Impact. Got him.
Well, here's 13. That was yours. What was yours?
14?
Right here.
Awesome. Weapon of the day has been acquired, and it's day 2. We got the, I don't know. I'm still sleepy, guys. What I was trying to say is that today's the day we go into realistic shooting scenarios with awkward positions, weird ranges, and only a few shots to hit the target. And after another quick safety briefing, we got straight into shooting. Our first shooting position was really weird, but it was made to simulate a tree.
A lot of wind in either direction.
So hold right on it.
That's what I would do.
All right, here we go.
Send it. Impact.
Nice.
So Kendall, what I would look at doing, so think of it like this, relax for a second, is
Okay.
let go of the rifle for a second. Now is the rifle perfectly stable? So now you climb into the rifle. The bag's doing the balancing for you. So now you can take that energy out and just climb into it nice and easy and get your hit. But you got your first hit, so I don't need to overcoach you. Good job.
Shooter ready?
Impact. Impact.
3 for 3. Nice job.
All right, first tree / European wartime barricade thing. We done all right. The next position was a seated tripod shot, which is very common if you're gonna be hunting out west. All right, so we're gonna switch this thing MOA. We're 580 yards. We're moving to exactly 12 MOA. We're gonna hold that on it and hope for the best. Here we go. Shooter ready?
Send it. Impact. Dead center hit.
We'll go straight for it again.
Just off the top left corner.
You want me to just hold a little at the bottom of the target?
That should put you somewhere into the center.
And a shade right of your last hold as well. Impact.
So your elevation was perfect there.
Ready? Dead center. The third position was taking advantage of a natural deadfall where we're shooting off of a down log.
I will zoom out with my optics so I can find the target first, the general vicinity. And then once I find that target, then I'll be able to zoom in and it'll be a lot easier for me to apply the magnification at that point and find the target.
Impact.
Heck yeah.
You ready?
Send it. Impact.
Oh,
Good shot.
nice work.
Oh.
After the first three positions, we moved into another location where this time we had to factor in wind drift with our shots. Then structures threw out some smoke bombs around the canyon, and this was crazy just to see how in different parts of the canyon, the wind is simply blowing different directions. Sometimes it's consistent, sometimes it's totally erratic. And as a shooter, you just kind of got to figure it out and hope for the best.
You know, that smoke is kind of just coming up and hanging. It's not really going left or right. So what that's telling us is, oh, now look how it just picked up. Now all of a sudden it went from nothing to a full value. I hope this gives you an idea of how topography works to affect the wind, and it can increase and decrease what you're actually feeling.
Our first position here was another seated tripod, but like I mentioned earlier, this time you have to account for wind.
Straight ahead, if y'all look and see where my rifle's pointing, there is a target up on the ridge. Take those off.
6.5.
I'm on it when you're ready. Impact. Impact.
Very nice. Make it look easy.
The next shot is a standing tripod shot, which is actually one of the most realistic shots you're gonna have to take out in the field. 1.5. Wind's pretty rough. Might let it chill down a little bit. At 200, would this wind make a big difference? No. We'll go ahead. Ready?
Yep.
Same one.
All right, guys, first half of day 2, doing pretty good. But anyways, this is the good stuff. But as for now, we're gonna eat lunch, and we get out there, now we're going to shoot across a canyon. That'll be pretty wild. This third section, not only did we have to account for wind, but we're stretching out to even further range. One of them, all the way out to 900 yards.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
What this represents is it's just got a truck right into the blind. We're walking, we're not expecting it, but something jumps up in, but we don't have much time, so we gotta get going. 10 seconds, go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So both shots went high over top, so why do you think they did?
Because it didn't adjust the
Didn't
thing.
adjust your dope, right? Well, I always tell you, always take the dope off the gun.
Yep.
The other thing to consider is every time we're moving or patrolling, we always run the lowest magnification. So watch, you put that on 6, look how much easier it is to pick that up.
Yeah. All right, that one got me. That one got me real good. So I went from shooting 700 yards, and I turned my dial to where I'm shooting really high, to where it comes down. But then I moved to a 78-yard target and forgot to twist that back down. So I was just lobbing bullets way over the 78-yard target. That's not good. Click it right here if you want to see me compete in the hunter games, or right over here for an Idaho black bear hunt where I had to take some shots very similar to the ones we did in this video.